Hey there, everybody. It's Corey from Productive Flourishing. I'm excited to chat with you today. We are going to be having on Gamze Feckelman, who is such a dynamo. So it's going to be a fun conversation today. We're going to talk about productivity and making videos on YouTube and some other cool stuff. So let's get Gamze on, and we will get into it. There she is. Good morning. Hey, good morning, Gamze.
Hey, Corey. Thank you. How are you?
I'm doing well. It's nice to meet you in person instead of just on email.
Yes, you too. Thank you so much. It's a bit late
Awesome.
here in the UK, so I'm like, you're saying good morning, and I'm like, I hope I'm not looking too tired today. But good to e-meet you.
Yeah. That's funny. So it's probably like 7 o'clock there. So I appreciate you hanging out with us for a bit.
My pleasure. It's lovely to be
Yeah.
here and chatting with you.
And where in the UK are you?
In Northampton, it's a little bit
North.
north of London.
Hmm.
We had a massive storm over the weekend, so there's a lot of
Hmm.
damage around where we are. So this should be good enough distraction for me. Talking about productivity with somebody who's also obsessed about this. Good timing. I love that. Just before
Yeah.
dinner.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, I'm so excited to talk with you today. Your YouTube channel, your productivity business, everything you do is so aligned with what Productive Flourishing does. So I'm excited to get to know you a little bit better and talk about some stuff. So let's get into it a little bit. And before we get into like deep questions, can you just give me like how do you describe yourself when people say, what do you do?
Ooh, that's a really good question. I, okay, I start with this sentence. I was
Mm,
always and will always be somebody who does seven things at a time. So that's that. I use three adjectives to define, although I don't believe in etiquettes or, like trying to describe yourself in simple words. But I would say I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a content creator, and I'm a productivity coach or a
mm,
success coach. So that's
mhm.
how I would describe myself. But in heart, I'm a scientist, right? So it's
Uh-huh.
always like, yeah.
Yeah, I want to talk about the science thing because you have quite the scientific background,
Yeah.
and the transition from that to what you're doing now is, I think, what most people would say is pretty unexpected.
Yeah.
So I want to get more into that. That's really fun. All right, so entrepreneur, creator, scientist. I love it.
Success
All right,
coach. Yeah.
success coach. Yes. All right. So you have a YouTube channel, and your videos look great. The production value is solid. Uh, Tell us a little bit about your production process, and if you
Mm.
can, maybe give us a little sneak peek. Show us a little bit of what your studio looks like. And I love
Oh,
this because it's so different for everybody.
right, I would love
Mhm.
to. Two things though. Thank you so much for
Mhm.
saying that. You're looking at my second YouTube channel, the English one. I'm not a
Mhm.
native English speaker. My native language is Turkish, and that's the first channel I started. I have another one in Turkish, and in the beginning, the videos didn't look good because I was filming on my webcam and I didn't know how to talk like myself.
Mhm.
Hello everybody. That was who I used to be online, and it's a learning curve, right? So right now what creative process looks like for me, especially creating YouTube videos, which is a long form that requires a lot of steps and a lot of involvement from maybe just a solo content creator, or maybe you have a team, and thankfully I have an editor at this point. So it looks like something like this. I would come up with an idea, and when I say come up with an idea, what I mean is something comes to me really.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
when the best ideas come to you in a particular room in the house, that's
Mhm.
when it
Mhm.
happens
When you're
mostly.
not, when you're definitely not working and it's not convenient to write it down.
Absolutely, when you're in the
Yeah.
bathroom. I'm sorry to be blunt and honest. So I have an app that I can capture that idea. That is the first point. Like whenever
Mhm.
something comes to me, I use that app to send an email to myself, which also is meaning that I don't put an idea in my content plan just yet. I let that idea cultivate until the next
Mhm.
time I check my emails. And then when I check 50% of the time, I'm like, what were you thinking? Delete. 50% of the time I'm like, oh, okay, I like that, and that will go into my other program that is all my ideas with what I really wanted to talk about in that video and all of that stuff. And then it will be
Mhm.
very basic scripting. I like to do bullet points. I always improvise in my videos, and it shows. And
Mhm.
I love that. I'm not like looking and reading something like that, so it's always like just coming up with what I wanted to talk about while having a loose structure about the points. Obviously setting up, which I will show you in a minute, gladly,
Mm-hmm.
and filming, sending it over to the editor, having a meeting and going over what I want from the video to look like. And obviously when I do productivity related videos, it's sit down, it's like my face in the background and I'm talking. It's not nothing like crazy visual or interesting
Mm-hmm.
or like film value, right? So it's always a meeting with the editor. Back in the days I used to do it myself, which is not my strong suit at all. Then it will be coming back, maybe revisions and all of that stuff. And then obviously, since you're targeting YouTube, it depends if you're targeting search or suggested. You optimize the
Mm-hmm.
video, so there's a lot of research going into that, all the keywords, how to title that in a way that it's targeting the robot, the algorithm, so it's search based, but also a human is going to read that. So it's
Yeah.
like, it's the creative process, but at the same time, it's a lot of thinking and automations, and the videos creation probably takes about like 24 hours to up to 3 days, maybe. And yeah, it's important to have your systems and your checklist in place, I think. That's the key point to
Nice.
that.
Okay, so I have questions about your system.
Yes.
You said that you capture your ideas in an app. Which app do you use?
Brain toss.
Brain Toss?
Have you ever heard of it?
No, I haven't.
Oh my
Yeah.
God. Okay. Here's my, like, this app looks ugly, right? This
Uh-huh.
is like one of the ugliest looking apps. Nothing like the app that you guys are coming up with. It's just a simple page where you can either voice note, type note, or photo note your email with one click. You have basically the Apple Watch thingy as well. So with one click, I would be doing this. Like, just click on that, and I'll be like, I have a video idea, blah, 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 blah. And I will send it, and that's it. And that's the quickest
Brilliant.
capturing I've ever had. It tries to transcribe, but with my accent, it's always a hit and miss. So
Okay, okay. So you throw all your ideas into Brain Toss,
yes.
and then how often do you review all your ideas that are in Brain Toss before you decide to put something into production?
BrainToss is not an app that holds anything. BrainToss just emails me, but it's the quickest
Oh, okay.
way to email yourself rather than writing down the top here, you know, like to area or whatever. It's just an email that I get from BrainToss every time, and I check my emails once a day. On a good day, if I'm having a really bad day, it's going to be two, but normally I check it once. So it means the next day I'll be checking my BrainToss, and I'll be like, okay, this is still a good idea, and I will put that into my Notion. Then I come up with my content calendar once a month, where I go through all of the ideas and I mark them good idea, bad idea. Let's validate this idea and all of that. And I would create a plan basically for the upcoming month in the middle of this month, so that I have time to generate the script and do my research about what I'm talking about, and also plan my filming schedule. So I would review the idea twice, really, like once I put it in the idea list, and once when I'm coming up with my whole content calendar for that month.
Nice. Okay, so then you it sounds like you use Notion to organize your content calendar. So, all right, our community loves Notion. There's a whole bunch of people who really love building tools from the ground up. So, in addition to managing your content calendar, what else do you use Notion for?
Let's have a look together, shall we?
Sure.
I have my new business, the product list in a table. So basically, like product, production, stock management, and all of that stuff. I have all my projects in there, my content, obviously. I have a project about this house we just bought 2 months ago, and that's why when I show you the office tour, the studio tour, please bear in mind that we just moved recently. So I have that as a project where I was like, okay, this is a target, this is the areas we're looking at, all of that. I have my business plan for my personal coaching business and my planner business. Then I have my task manager, my business routines, my personal routines. I have my one-to-one coaching client list and notes there, all the courses that I'm working on, learning and development. When my parents are here, do these lists, my dog's vaccination, shopping plans, because he
So
buys
literally
certain
your
things at
entire
Notion.
life is in Notion.
Wait, I'm not done. Date night ideas.
Date
That's
night
a cool
ideas,
one.
yeah.
Packing to everything, really. I do use Notion on a regular basis. Everything that I'm not planning in terms of time management planning, like on a calendar on my planner, lives in Notion for me to reach from anywhere. So yeah, I'm a Notion addict. Guilty.
Yeah, that's so funny. I've been using Evernote for essentially the same thing for close to 12, 13 years.
Right.
So it's been interesting to see Notion sort of come along, and all the cool kids use Notion, and I'm still using Evernote.
No, I mean, I used to use like Trello, Asana, all of these things. But what I found in Notion is that you can create like custom codes for, like I have a CRM here that will tell me like, you didn't call your grandma in 3 months, just call her, kind of emoji, hello, kind of thing. The flexibility of this is like Evernote and all of that together. I think that's the attraction around Notion. They need to send out email reminders though, don't they? I think still for that point, people still use other things.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's see. Okay, so everything goes into Notion, and then you have your monthly content review and planning. Yep. And then you start creating. So let's see your creative space.
Let's do that. I'm sorry if I'm going to be a little bit bumpy.
That's okay.
Yeah.
That's what Instagram Lives are for.
Right. This is my office. Right now, Amazon packages, because this is real life. Dog bed, because you can't do anything without a dog around you. This is most of the time, this is my background, but it's also my showroom for my business and all the things that I care about, books, cool bags and stuff like that. And my desk, which is a second background, basically, that I would use. That wallpaper needs to go. And this is the main background. So when I was thinking about this office, I thought, be flexible and have 3 different backgrounds if possible, so that not every video looks the same. And here is my little monitor with my PlayStation, because I'm that person. The ring light, a tree in the room, because why not? And here will be my exercise bike, hopefully. And I think that's pretty much the tour. And what happens is, when I'm filming, that cupboard behind me will be opened, and there are going to be 3 different lights coming out of there. And I will set up my tripod either facing this direction or this direction or this direction, mostly based on UK's weather. Because nothing beats natural light, and you don't get an abundant good light here in the UK. So yeah, it's more an office than a studio. That transforms into a studio once a week when I take all the lights out and remove all the Amazon packages out as well.
Nice. Well, 1, your office is beautiful.
Thank you.
So yeah, it looks great. 2, what are you playing on the PlayStation recently?
Well, in the PlayStation inside, the new one, we're playing Overcooked most of the time.
Yeah.
But here, I moved this here because there's a game called Just Dance. Have you ever heard of that one?
Yeah.
Yes. So this one has a PlayStation camera too. So this is basically built here, set up here for my workouts when I use Just Dance for a quick workout that is not like intense. But yeah, I think Just Dance, Just Sing, which I shouldn't really with this voice. Overcooked, and then sometimes I will watch my husband play other things and give directions, because that's my role in the PlayStation thing. Like, turn right, check that out. There's something sparkly there.
It cracks me up. Overcooked is a hilarious game, and like it's all about like coordination and making sure that everybody's doing stuff at the same time. So it makes total sense to me that stress management. Yeah. Okay. So break us down. Like, what does your planning look like? How do you structure your time? Because you're very busy. You're running a couple of businesses, making videos, coaching people. How do you plan your time?
Yeah. I think the first step, and this is the step that I would recommend anybody who's starting with me, like as a first session kind of thing with my coaching, is coming up with an ideal week routine. That, in an ideal world where nothing crazy happens, your kids don't require anything randomly, the pipes don't break, like everything goes according to plan. What does your week look like? When do you wake up? When do you eat? When do you do your most productive work or most impactful work? When do you, like, everything in a Google Calendar, iCal, whatever calendar, like just put it in place. So like something like this basically, but tells you what would your SOP be, like standard operating procedure for the machine that your brain is, right? What would that look like? So I created that, and I change that every couple of months, because I change, I evolve as a human being. My routines change. It's not always the same thing. the first step is that, and when I have that in place, I go into my monthly planning, which is something that I do every month, just an overall, what is the focus of this month? Am I working on a new habit? What is the project? What are some key dates, key important things? This slide was one of the important things. So that kind of thing, just an overview. And then I will go into my weekly planning, which has I have a routine around that on my Notion, that tells me, go over all the pages of your planner and all the days on your calendar from last week onwards, so that see if there's anything that you didn't do that you have to replan, and like just a 10-step weekly planning process. And then I would go into putting things into place, looking at that. I call it wow, week of winning. I would be like, okay, Monday mornings is when I'm really good at, working on the planner business, because that's where I think about products, think about copy, think about the website. That is where, my personal brain situation is the best for that task. So I'd be like, okay, what is it exactly for this week? Wednesdays, I'm great at filming because it's the middle of the week. There's no stress around that. I don't have any calls in the afternoons that's blocked for filming. So I'd be like, okay, what video I need to film this week? And I would look at the Notion content plan and stuff like that. So it's basically having a structure, a general structure, and then doing the weekly planning according to that. But obviously, yes, I'm a business owner. Yes, I'm very organized. I'm trying to be as productive as a human can be, but I'm human, like I said, and everybody has these moments of like, I don't feel inspired at all, and I don't want to do this at all. Or on the contrary, I should be doing something admin-y, and really I'm feeling extremely, like creative. That's when it comes, right? Especially for me, like I wear makeup. That's my preference. But when I feel that crazy wave of inspiration, it comes at like 8-9 p.m. and I don't have makeup on anymore and I look like a junkie. But I try to work around that. And what I do at this point is I do my weekly planning and my daily planning in a very flexible way, which means if you don't feel like doing, you can push it back 2 times. You don't want to do it today, push it back to, if tomorrow is free, to tomorrow, if not, to the next possible date. And if you push it one more time, we sit down and say, what happened? Is it something that you can delegate? Is it something that you can just completely remove because it's not necessary and you're not doing it? Or are you procrastinating around that? Should we break it down a little bit more, or can we make it a little bit more fun, really?
Yeah.
So the planning is a long process, and it's like a daily, am I doing this? Am I tapping into the right zone at the right time? Am I like going forward with this plan, as I did it yesterday, which is the boss of me. Yesterday's version of me is the boss of today's version of me, basically. That's how I like to put it. Right.
That's so funny. Okay.
She was smarter, she was well fed, she had a good day, she wasn't super bright. She was a smarter version, so why not listen to her?
Oh my goodness. All right. So stuff comes up, some things don't get done. How do you handle when your week is messed up? Like you mentioned that you'll look at something and say, well, maybe this isn't important, or maybe how do you examine the underlying causes for why things aren't getting done?
Well, like I said, I use a planner, my planner, and I see what is not checked, and I always make sure that I mark it differently to the things that have been checked down and done. So I look at if it has been moved once or twice, and then it's 2 times, and I analyze it, right? Every day in my ideal week, my wow, I have an hour gap for things that creep up, or things take long, or you overestimated yourself, self-confidence, whatever. I have that buffer time anyway, and I have a Friday buffer for the whole week. But sometimes it just doesn't happen anyway, and then it will be like, okay, can I tie it to something else? Can I make it a little bit easier? Can I do some of this if it's a bigger task? Like I used to write as a plan, and I'm sure everybody here did. So did you probably write, plan the website, or change the copy on the website, like something like a massive project as a task. And I think the massive problem there, and I'm still guilty of it, obviously, is the over planning. People really overestimate what they can do in a day or a week, and really underestimate what they can do in a year or 2, right? And I'm guilty guilty for that too. So I'm looking. It wasn't my fault, first and foremost. What I sometimes do, if I'm having a really busy week ahead, I would time block on my Google Calendar. I don't do this regularly anymore. I used to do it like religiously, but I felt like it wasn't giving me the flexibility that I needed, and the feeling of stress was coming up a little bit last year due to COVID. So now I would be like, if I'm having a really busy one, I would time block, and that's how I would know, like, okay, you are blocking everything for 15 minutes that you can't get done for 15 minutes. Don't do that to yourself. So.
How long have you been practicing this level of productivity?
Um, I think it started when I was still living in Switzerland, like 5, 6 years ago. I used to be horrible, Corey. Like, you would be so surprised when I tell you, I failed a class in university because there was an attendance policy and I lived in campus, and I
Mm.
still didn't get up and walk that 10 minutes to the class. Failed it, you know?
Yeah.
There are other things. Like, I wrote my second master's thesis, which was in cancer biology, in 2 weeks. I was pulling my hair out because I left it to the last minute, right? Like, that was the person that I was. Okay, let's admit it. I
Yeah.
was always late. I was known to be late. And I think when I realized, especially after that master's thesis, it's hurting me. Like, it can't go on like that. And when I apply myself to something that really damages my life goals and ambitions, I think somebody who is obsessed with it comes out, and that's what happened to me as well.
All right. So you have a bachelor's degree, two master's degrees, and you spent something like a decade working in molecular biology, cancer research. Why did you feel that that work, like why did you transition from that work to what you're doing now?
Right. I have a bachelor's in molecular biology and genetics.
Mm-hmm.
I have a master's in marketing, an MBA, that I
Mm.
also went and got to change my area of expertise in the medical field to go to medical marketing. And finally, I had a master's degree in cancer biology to go to academic world, actually. And thank God that I don't have a decade of work experience. That would make me like a little bit older than what I am right now.
It was a
Um,
decade, including all the studying that you did.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for
Yeah.
saying that, because
Mm.
it was just
Yeah.
my birthday and I just turned 34, and I'm not coping well with that one. But jokes aside, I have 5 years of work experience in the medical
Mm-hmm.
and pharma industry altogether. And this is how it worked. I loved what I studied, the molecular biology and genetics. And I always call it was a platonic kind of love. It didn't love me back. Then what happened is I really, really loved working in the pharma industry as well, but the field was clinical research and I wanted something a bit more creative in my life. And that's
Mm-hmm.
why I went and did that MBA to come back in the marketing area in pharma, which is what I came back to really. And it was great until I was like, this is not satisfying in terms of 9 to 5. I know that it's perfect for some people. It's not perfect for my character, who needs a little bit of the fourth time, I think, in this little life, flexibility.
Yeah.
I like to tap into that flexibility. I like to, if I don't feel like working, I can give myself a day off. If I feel like working the whole Sunday, cool, go for it. I believe in using where your biology is at that given time and applying that to whatever you're doing, rather than trying to work against that all the time. And that's when I was like, okay, corporate world is not really the best place for me, really, just because of that work structure didn't work. And then academic world, which is where then I was like, okay, then I found my passion. Like, it didn't love me back, but if I give it another shot, like you do with some, ex-lovers, this time it could work. We both changed. And in that regard, I really love molecular biology and genetics more now than ever, with the whole, COVID, and like this is my jam, right? Like understanding virus and everything around it. The problem is my field was children leukemia, working with samples and situations, and this type of leukemia was 100% lethal for kids. So that means that every story, every sample, everything that you get is from that. It's a bit depressing. And what happened to me is, after a year I was like, okay, this is more demanding than corporate. It's more flexible for sure, but it's more demanding in terms of you have these cells and mice and experiments that are going on that require you to be in the lab sometimes, I don't know, 6 days a week, 7 days a week. And I'm also a dancer, if you didn't know that about me.
Mm-hmm.
I travel around the world, I used to travel around the world for salsa.
Uh-huh.
And that would be something that I have to give up more than anything. And obviously the whole day in, day out sadness that I didn't cope well. And that's when I actually started my YouTube channel and my business as something to distract myself and something to play with.
Yeah.
When I started my business, my first business, what I did was I called the top 10 people that would know me the best. My parents, my husband, my best friends, and I called them and I said, okay, listen, corporate life, did, tried. Academic life, did, tried. Now I'm tipping my toes into the entrepreneurial pool. Who do you think I am? And 10 out of 10, they were like, you're an entrepreneur because you're such a creative problem solver. That's who you are. And I was like, okay, because I feel the best here as well. I think that's the thing. Like, it's not all business. It's not all about career, and entrepreneurship gave me that balance between work and play, doing what you want, stopping when you need to. Like, I had to take a massive break last year when my dad had a heart attack, and I just had to stop everything, and I could. That's the thing. I could be there for him, and I think that's what made me, okay, I spent so much time, and I put so much, it's an investment, really, like time, years, everything. But in the end, it's never too late to find your passion, change your route, and design a life that you want to get out of bed for. That's the thing, like back when I was first working, I remember sleeping in, this is crazy. I can't believe that I'm saying this live, but I used to wear the dress that I'm going to wear to work before I go to bed because I knew I would be late. And I would just pull it down and just get in the car,
I love that story. That's the reel right there. That story, that little 10 seconds, that's the reel from this episode. That's fantastic. Well, Gamze, thank you so much for chatting with me today and hanging out.
My pleasure.
For productive flourishing people who don't know you, could you just tell us one more time, what do you do? If people wanted to learn more about you, where should they follow you or find you?
This is the trickiest bit because of my name. Guys, here's another funny story for you just before I go. My full name is 29 characters. A court case is going on right now to get rid of the two. But you can find me at Gamze, which is my name, on YouTube, or Gamze Fackelman, I know, .com, which is linked to my YouTube channel, thank God. And I like to make videos about, this is how I summarize it, productive lifestyle. Like every video, I try to give a tip, show something that I found to be working better than before, that I feel fulfilled in my life, and that's what I'm trying to share. And when people ask me to do coaching, okay, I enjoy talking, clearly. So you can find information about that on my website. My Instagram, as you can see, is GamzeAF. It doesn't stand for what you think it stands for. It's actually my two last names initials. But it worked. It's great. GamzeAF. Why not?
All right. So if people wanted to learn more about you, they should either follow you here on Instagram or check out your YouTube channel.
Yes, absolutely. And I think my Instagram has my website linked on the profile as well. So yeah, it's easy to find me for sure.
Awesome. And for those of you who are Gamze followers and don't know Productive Flourishing, I'm Corey Huff. I am the head of marketing at PF, and we help people figure out how to finish the projects that matter most to them. And we do that. We have published books. You can see Start Finishing behind me by Charlie Gilkey. We sell planners, and we have a new planner app coming very soon, probably late May, early June, called Momentum, where we just announced that we raised $300,000 to build the app and bring it to market. And we also had a successful Kickstarter campaign where we had 445 backers and raised 42 grand. So yeah, we're very excited about the app and about Momentum in general. And we love having these kinds of conversations and talking to people about how they stay productive and do things they love doing. And I love the transition that you made from a job that you didn't like to this entrepreneurship. It's not for everybody, but it's working for you, and that's great.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Gamze, and have a great day.
Thank you so much, Corey. Thank you, everybody.
Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.